Hello and welcome to Hixxy Studio. In this video I'm going to show you how to make this card. We're going to be using an embossing folder called Dotty Flourish. It's one of the 3D embossing folders by Sue Wilson from Creative Expressions. And for the flowers I am using Elizabeth Craft Designs Garden Notes the Dahlia. Okay, now we're going to use this in a couple of ways. One will be to create the traditional kind of 3D background, but I've also used it to create this background. We're going to be using wax paper, and so for this you will need wax paper. Now it's the wax paper that I use. If you've been sort of crafting for as long as I have, you know, there was for quite a while we tended to use wax paper with some of the more intricate dies to allow them to release quicker from the dies. So I still have loads of this. That's all it is. It's just the kind of wax paper that you might use in the kitchen, or if you've got some in your craft stash already. It's nothing special. Okay, and I'm going to put it into my folder. I want it slightly bigger, and I'm going to cut it here. I've already got my iron on. I'm just going to check that it's heating up. Yeah. So you need an iron. You can use your ordinary iron if you've got a little craft iron. And I've got mine set on sort of the 3 dots, the hottest setting. Also, I'm using Faber-Castell mixed media paper, but you could use probably use stamping card. I haven't tried it with ordinary stamping card or watercolor card or whatever is going to take sort of the wax, because we're going to end up with a wax resist sort of effect going on. Okay, so we're going to run this through the machine now. When you do this, you think, how on earth is that going to work? And to be fair, the first time I ever did it, I was like, okay, come on, how are you actually going to get that to create anything? But it does. So let's get this through. You can hear it embossing, because this is a 3D embossing folder. It will work with all your embossing folders, this technique. It doesn't necessarily have to be a 3D embossing folder. So this is what I've got. And you look at that and you think, really? Yes, really. So what I am then going to do is I've got 2 pieces of the card, putting one underneath and one on the top. You don't have to do one on the top and one underneath, but you do get kind of a twofer, and I'm never quite sure which one's going to turn out the best anyway. So you also need, I've got a heat resistant mat. You need to sandwich it between some copy paper. So I'm putting kind of 2 sheets either side. So far, I will sort my sandwich out in a moment, but I also to sort of reduce heat damage, my craft tea towel. You can see it's lovely and inky, just clean though. That's just to provide me with something sort of to push down on, and also to give me a little bit more sort of what's the word, padding, I suppose, between my craft mat and my the iron. So right, so let's get this lined up. So I've got my heat resistant craft mat, I've got a tea towel, I've got a couple of sheets of copy paper, I've got a piece of the Faber-Castell mixed media paper, I've got my my embossed wax paper, another piece of the Faber-Castell, and 2 more pieces of copy paper, and my iron nice and hot. Just sorry, excuse me, I might look weird like I'm doing. I'm just checking I've got enough length on the cable coming over the back of the desk there. So I am now just going to iron, and you kind of want to make sure, you know, that you're getting it really nice and heated. Okay, so I know 7 or 8 seconds maybe, but making sure that's on sort of on each part. The other thing I am going to do, which I didn't do last time, is I'm just going to, once I've been all the way over this, like so, I'm going to just carefully flip it over so that I can get some direct heat on the bottom, because I'm finding that when you do the two, one is not as good as the other. And I'm presuming it's the bottom, although I've not really paid much attention to it. So I've put some nice heat on that one as well. Okie dokie. Right. Okay, so let's take. Now you may just be able to see an imprint on there, but it's not obvious. So I'm going to move all of this out of the way. Now the other thing that I have found doing this is that I've had better results using sprays than I have by going over with an ink pad. I don't think I need quite that much paper on there. Yeah, so I found that I have had better results using a spray and a piece of kitchen towel than trying to go over with an ink pad. So that's what I'm going to do. So I've got the two, like I say, and I am going to spray one. I need to give it a bit of a shake. So I've got Distress Oxide sprays, and I've got Bundled Sage, and I have Milled Lavender. Nice sort of quite light tones. Within the Distress sort of range, there are some colours that are a lot paler than others, whereas you've got some really lovely bright colours, but there are a few sort of paler ones. And these are two of them, and they are gorgeous. So I'm going to spray this one with the Bundle Sage, and I'm literally just going to. Now you can't see a thing, I know that. So, but you can see it's starting to pool a little bit. So there we go. There it is. Now I am going to put a bit more spray up there. I'm not sure whether it's because I didn't put enough spray, or whether because I might not have put as much pressure on the iron up there, but we'll see. Oh no, it was not enough spray. So you can see how beautiful that is. Okay, now like I say, when I've done it before, I've always found that one has been better than the other. So let's see if flipping it over has actually changed that. So I'm going to do exactly the same here. Whoops, got a bit of a drip going on with my spray. Oops. There you go. So this one. Yeah, I'd say that one's not quite as good, and maybe it is the colour. But I'd say again, that is the one that was probably on the bottom to begin with. But I'm not bothered about that, because this is actually the piece that I am then going to run through the embossing folder again. This is the bit I used on the back. So I'm not bothered about that. So let's take these out of the spray box. Put that down. And I'm going to give it a very, very quick heat blast, but not a lot, because what I don't want to be doing is melting the wax. I just want it dry enough that I can work with it, particularly this one. Actually, this one is possibly better than I'm giving it credit for. and it may be that the colour isn't great, but you can see here there's definitely no resist here. So you do, when you're doing the two, you do get one obviously that is better than the other. So you can either you know, just stick with the one, or like me, you know, I'm going to use this because it still adds some interest. So this one I'm running through the folder again. Now I want to make sure that I'm getting it up the right way. So I want the recesses on the top because I want it to push up. Now because this card is still a bit damp, what I found, and you can see here, is that because this is 3D and it's still a bit damp, some of the really bits did pop through. But again, I don't dislike that, so I'm quite happy to go with that. So put this one through. No, you're not going to rewind that. I want to go through. It's too thick. I'm going to try it again and see. Okay. That's probably as thick as you want that sandwich. Possibly. Would have been better to use the plastic shim instead of the top one, but we've got it through. But I can almost guarantee, you can see that it has popped through on those little dots. But like I said, I don't dislike that, and I do like the effect that I can see coming through of the little bit of the wax that we did get. So I've got my two things now, both from the same folder. So I think this is a really lovely technique and a completely different way of using your embossing folders. So let's find my bits and pieces, and we can start to put this together. You do get bits left over, so keep hold of those because that's a lovely background. So what have I got? I've got a 5x7 card, and I went for a really deep colour to contrast the two really lovely light colours that I've got. So this one we're going to do, before I stick it on, we are going to do some inking, but I want to cut it down to size before I ink the edges. So this one, because it's got quite a bit torn, let's check enough. Yeah, will work from the bottom, I think. So I'm just starting by straightening this off before I make the decision where I'm going to cut it. Right, okay, so okay, mark it there and there, and then in a moment, once I cut the other one, I'll get my ink out and we will ink the edges. That's for the back. That's caught on one of the little. That will go on our background, and then again, I might just give this a little bit of a there. Work out where I want to cut from, and I think this area here is lovely. So I'm going to cut down there, and then we'll top there. So I am faffing, but it's one of those things. Whenever you make a background, there are some bits of it that you will love a lot more than others. So all I'm doing is choosing the bit that I like the most to use for my card. I'm just looking for my pencil. Okay, so I'm just literally laying my card down, and I'm kind of doing it by eye, sort of giving myself a little bit of a border each side, and then we will. Oh, excuse me, got cheer. We will and there. That's going to go on there and there, but we're going to ink them before we do anything else. No, before we do anything else, I'm going to get rid of my bits of rubbish. I'm not making too much of a mess. Ink mat. Now, so I have got the oxides now in the same colours as I had the spray. So I've got milled lavender and bundled sage. So I'm going to take the milled lavender and I'm going to have a little bit of an ink around the edge here. It looks quite pink in this. I don't know why I've used it here, but it's very, very pretty. So look here, I'm just going around the edges just to give it a little bit of definition. It catches some of the embossed detail as well, so it shows that off too. There we go. It's looking a lot lighter than the one I did before, but again, that might be because I didn't put as much spray on. The other thing that is showing here as I'm inking, it's also showing up some more of the wax resist. That's a lot darker, so I'm just going to go back and put a little bit more on along here. There we go. So that's there, and then we'll do the same. This time we bundled sage around our little wax resist piece here. It's a really good technique. If, like me, you've got tons of wax paper sitting, because, like I say, if you may well remember, when we used to use it quite routinely for releasing some of the more tricky dies. Okay, let's get those bits stuck and then we'll have a look at the flowers. Let's see if I can get any glue out of this one. Probably was the worst one to pick up, but never mind. There is glue in it and it needs using. Oh, maybe not. Glue's there. It looks like he's got something stuck in the end. I'm going to change my mind because it's just needing a lot of pressure. I think there's not a lot of glue left in it, and needs a lot of pressure to get it out, and my hands are not. Whereas this one is I think this one's also on its last legs. How many glues does one person need? Lots when they don't play ball. I don't know why that one's not playing ball. Oh, is that better? I'd say not. I'd say we might be out of glue in there. Glue number 3. That's why I have lots of glue. No, come on. Come on. Let's not play around now. Oh, you can laugh, won't you? 3 glues, none of them want to give me any glue. Oh, here we go. No? Right. I'll go with this one. That one runs out. You couldn't make it up, could ya? Right, this one is the end popping out. Right, we'll go with 3D glue gel for the minute until I can work out why all my glues have given up the go. I could hazard a guess because I know what the day is today, but depends whether you're superstitious or not. It's Friday the 13th that we're filming this one, and yeah, my glue obviously has gone. Not playing today. Let's just. Can always rely on my good old 3D glue gel. And I would have used 3D glue gel on the back of this one anyway, because this is going on to a very raised surface. So this one just need, not that I want it raised anymore, but it gives me the ability to get that glued down into the recesses there. Okay, so that's my base card finally together. So let's have a look at the flowers. Now, I have already cut some things. Let me grab the dies. Bear with me. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different sizes, and I have used them all. So on the bigger flower, I've used all 5, and on the smaller flowers, I've used the 4. And the back flower I cut out in the purple so that it would really stand out. Now, when I was playing around with the prep for this, there were a couple of not so great attempts, particularly when I used the brush with the ink on. So rather than wasting that, I used that to cut out the leaves. So I've cut out both sizes of leaves, and I cut out the small rest of the flowers from the purple one. So I didn't waste my first attempt, what I felt was a failed attempt at the wax resist. I just decided to use it. I mean, you can see there's a bit of wax resist, but it doesn't quite show as much, I feel, as when you use the spray. Okay, so this is how I put the flower together. So literally with my fingers, just making sure I've got hold of the sort of bottom of the petal, just pushing it up like so. I'm doing that with all of the layers. The nice thing about die cutting your things out of bits like this is that you know that they're going to coordinate with the rest of your card, because it's exactly the same colours that you have used with everything else. So we're going to go grab a bit of paper just to work on. To glue on with, rather, because there's a hole in my flower. So inevitably glue is going to go through that. I'm just arranging these on like so. Now for the center of the flowers, I used this die. I cut it out of the green, my sort of green disaster, but I also inked the back because obviously you're going to roll this. So I'm going to take my tweezers, and I usually turn it this way so that the sort of the bit, if you like, this little tail is towards me, and I need to do it like that. And then these bits are to the side, and then I just start to roll. When I've got it rolled, I just get a bit of glue and just run the glue along there, and then just keep rolling it. Okay, and then I'm just going to hold on to it for a little bit just so that it dries. Probably won't leave it as long as I should, but you'll get the idea. Okay, so once it's dried, and I'm going to keep hold of it on here for the moment, I just literally have gone in and brought these little bits down just to splay them out a little bit, trying to make sure I've got some going in different directions, like so. Okay, and then I'm going to add a little bit more glue gel in the middle. Oh, looks like a nasty lump of it came off there. It's all over my hand. Yeah, my hands look like most of this is dried glue. Okay, so this now needs to come off of there, and it will go and sit in leg sill. Right, so we can now put our flowers on to our card. We're going to do a little arrangement of 3. The 2 smaller ones are going to go on first. Oh, if I can actually get hold of it. So glue gel, and again, I'm not pushing it down for the moment. I'm just kind of just dropping it on. It's just so that I can, once I've got the 3 on, I can then kind of fiddle around till I'm happy with the layout like so. And then the leaves, you can shape them if you want. I don't see the need on this one particularly. And then it's a little bit of glue gel, and then just going to push them in all around. So coming not just sort of underneath, but coming up from the bottom as well. And I did edge these with a bit more of the green, the bundled sage, just so that they stood out more from, because they're obviously going onto a green background. So with the leaves, it's just, you know, what you think looks nice, what you're happy with. To just play until you're happy with what you've got. I think we'll go with that. Okay, and then all that leaves me then is I've got a bow which will go on, yeah, that way. And then I need my sentiment. And the sentiment is Julie Hickey Designs Everyday Sentiment. I'm going to need some more glue gel, but that's okay. I'll get that in a sec. Pretty sure I'm going to need some more, because this needs quite a bit, because I've raised, it's going to sort of sit on that. I might have enough. Oh, not quite. Syringe. Because it's going to sit on that, it needs to be quite raised up, so it doesn't all just sink back down. And there you have it. So we have used the Dotty Flourishes 3D embossing folder, and we've used it in 2 ways. So your traditional embossing, which is on the back, but then we used it with wax paper to create this lovely wax resist layer as well. And then for the flowers, I have used the Garden Notes Dahlia die. Okay. Have a look on the channel, because there is another another project where I've used this embossing folder. Yeah, subscribe and you'll get updates of when we put new things on. Thank you for joining me.